it says, keep the body and take the mind, which they have done. Bear with me for a second. This is Isaiah 29, verse 10. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, hath he covered. And basically, that's going into, like it said in the book, keep the body and take the mind. It's ultimately of the Lord that these people are so docile and sleep to what's going on. But at the same time, it's also the conditioning. You know what I mean? But all things work back to the Most High. You know what I mean? They always say the Most High is the ultimate chess player. When you realize the Most High works through people as well as through nature and the chariots, and the Most High can touch anything. But when you really take the time to digest and think about this, the Most High gave Esau the visions to create the atomic bomb, to create a nuclear weapon, in order to destroy him with the nuclear weapon. We believe that Esau was blessed, by Isaac, which we believe is Yahweh Shai, with the power of the sword. And that's why he's gonna live through conquering people with the sword. And when you go through this Edomite's history, that's what he has done. But it also tells you in scripture, Yahweh Shai said, he who lives by the sword shall die by the sword. You know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, it's very, very deep. I got one more. I think it's 2 Thessalonians 2, and let me start at verse 10. We'll start at verse 7. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. And the mystery of iniquity is finding out that this red Hebrew Edomite, this so-called white man, is the fucking devil. Doth already work, which he's working now in the earth. This Edomite would tell you that if somebody did what Donald Trump did, as far as assassinating a man that had nothing to do or wasn't attacking America, supposedly you got to go based on, they say he was going to do something. Like, you believe that shit? You know what I mean? Like, right now, they controlling the heaven. Did you, the Apostle Tahar brought up something that was so cold when he went into he did a lesson on the languages and how the languages was confounded, because he was listening to this lady speak Russian. When you go into the Russian alphabet, all it is the Paleo Hebrew. And when he said, when you take time to think about it, there's so many languages that's basically based off the Hebrew. You know what I mean? He was like, well, at the same time, how America is, just to be able to fly, you gotta know English. You get what I'm saying? To be a pilot, you could be a Moabite pilot, but you gotta know English to be able to fly. And then he said, and what is Satan? He's the prince of the power of the air. And it was just so deep how he broke it down. Like, the Apostle Tahar is really, like, the Most High, you could tell he's dealing with this man. That man literally said before, Donald Trump got acquitted, he was going to get acquitted. I remember when they always bring up how he made that false statement about the end of the world, Salakia. But I think the Most High did that for a reason, you know what I mean? For whatever reason, because you got to remember, it talks about how the deceived and the deceiver are his, That's in the scriptures. This is 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 6. Verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he now know, Salaki, only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, who the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, which we're doing now. You know, this red Hebrew Edomite is so upset because we're revealing that this man is the devil. We not coming carnally fighting or, you know, trying to take, we literally pulling down strongholds by the words coming out of our mouth. These devils is upset about that. Why do you think, listen, out of all the different movements, YouTube literally went and hired thousands of fucking people to actually monitor the videos. I watched them systematically cut certain people's videos and channels to, you know what I mean? Like they really, but the Apostle Tahar said something though, and I can see it too. It's a double-edged sword though, because although you got the power to cut this channel, you also got to listen to it because you got to filter through the content. But they some devils anyway, because like I said, like Apostle Tahar said, you giving these strikes for shit that you already gave him strikes for just to remove the page. You know, it's deep. It says, even him who's coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. And you know, this man has power through the left hand with the internet. Even though the internet is nothing new, you know, the Uman and the Thurman, you know, that crystal ball. Because you got to remember, they didn't actually invent the internet. These signals been around. Like when Tesla figured out the radio station, that's a signal. Just found out how to access. Math is nothing that they created. They just figured out the system. It's a system. Verse 10, and with all deceivableness of righteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And that's just ultimately the will of the Lord. You know, he doesn't want some people to get it. You know what I mean? You know, as it says, if they get it, he will have to save them. Some people's fate is just to be here to be destroyed. Like missile food. You ain't heard that one in a long time, which is the truth though. You know, like the Apostle Tahar constantly said, he said, America's a huge altar. And it is. It's going to be a huge sacrifice. This place is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles. You know, he was talking about, you know, you got prophecy going on right now with the Brexit. You know, Britain left the EU. You know what I mean? That's a major prophecy. It says, verse 11, and for this cause Yahweh shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. And I was just going into basically like how Esau has these people mind. You know, but it's ultimately the will of the Lord. Keep the body and take the mind. In other words, break the will to resist. Now the breaking process is the same for the horse and the nigger, only slightly varying degrees. But as we said before, you must keep your eyes focused on the female. And Esau know that. You know, that's how he actually destroyed our homes. You know what I mean? That they already know that's how you break up a fucking nation. You take the father out the home. The father's gonna bring order to the home. A woman has her place and a man has her place. Now things are so fucked up and we so, you know, I was thinking about this recently. You know, some people be under the delusion when you come to serve the Lord, everything's supposed to be good. But when you really read the scriptures, when you take the time to think about it, if you really read them scriptures, you will realize the men that was working with the Lord was working with, they didn't have easy lives. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Jonah ran for a reason. He knew that shit was going to be hell. You know, like, so, you know, when you really take the time to think about it, you know, and it's so funny how, like Apostle Tahar always speaks on, he said, you know, they have their own interpretation. Yeah, they got an interpretation of the Bible. They don't have the correct one, though. You get what I'm saying? It's nowhere in scripture. When you really read the Bible, it doesn't say all nations. When you really take the scriptures in context, the Bible literally just talks about the Israelites. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, there was other captivities and the Lord used certain people because it tells you that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of man and set up whomever he choose to. I think that's in the book of Daniel. So, you know, at the end of the day, when you go into like Esther and Xerxes, you know, the Lord used Xerxes and you know, like when you go into Purim and Esther and all that, that was spiritual. Like that's a deep story when you take time and think about it. You know, the Lord cursed us, and I was thinking about this. I'm like, damn, you know, I thought that because I'm doing the right thing, you know, my household would be intact or something like that. And, you know, I've suffered that curse with my, you know, my children's mothers. But yet still, the brother brought out, he was like, you know, when Xerxes made that decree, when Haman got him to make that decree, they had put out the decree to kill the Israelites. So once a king, it says in the scriptures, I believe in the book of Psalms or Proverbs, it says the king's word is power and who could turn it back. Once a king say something, that word, that's the word. That's why he had to make 2 decrees. He made one decree to kill the Israelites, and then he made another decree for the Israelites to be able to fight and protect themselves. So he had to do another decree to actually counteract the first decree. Because the first decree he couldn't turn back. And the Most High cursed us, so we're still up under them curses. I mean, yeah, he dealing with us more. You can see anybody that's doing the will and the work and actually got testimonies and sincerely in his truth, I know they got at least 1 or 2 stories, probably multiple ones. You know, I was listening to the brother, elder brother Dimash, and he was saying how he cursed somebody and watched that person die. He was like, he was true, new to the faith, and then realized, and you know, like that's why you got to be careful with, you know, saying them curses. Like you got brothers that you know, like we all emotional, but you know, like I got my own testimony on the seriousness of this. You know, I used to watch people sit up there and get mad at their Eve and curse her, not realizing not realizing the power that you're dealing with. Salakia, I'm gonna stop here.